Hi. I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about discouragement and feeling defeated because that's definitely something that's a significant struggle when you're dealing with these traumatized kiddos. So I can only talk about what helps me, and not that it 100% helps, because there are times when you just go to bed and you're in a mass of tears and frustration. So I think the biggest thing to remember is to take care of you. I find that what happens is my moments of frustration are most obvious and most difficult to deal with when I haven't been able to take some time to just be Rachel. So I know, as I'm saying that, I know from experience that it can be difficult to find that time. A lot of times these kids require 24/7 care, and it feels like there's more hours in the day when you're dealing with them, because a lot of them don't sleep, and so you're up in the night, monitors and all those things. But if you can find some place or somebody safe that can give you a break, you must do that. The other thing that I would say is we take on a lot when we take on these kids, and they have come from some horrible, horrible situations, and they do horrible, horrible things because of the trauma, and we understand that. But also there is personal responsibility that I think we forget sometimes, because we want to be gracious and kind, which is important. It's the most important thing. But at the same time, I think what happens is we take on too much. We forget that their choices are out of our control. And we begin to beat ourselves up when we don't see changes that we need to see. And we begin to take that on and feel as if it's because we are inept or we're unable to do this. And that's not true. They are in a safer place than they've ever been. They're in a place where they're loved and they're taken care of and they're fed. And sometimes that's all that they will allow you to give. I mean, sometimes they won't even allow you to give that. Sometimes, they fight with just allowing you to keep them safe. But this is not normal parenting, and I think we compared the two. We compare, especially if we already have kids, but even if we don't, we look at other moms and we expect that we should feel the way moms with biological untraumatized kids feel, and that's not going to happen. We beat ourselves up for having normal human emotions in reaction to, and I hate to say this because it sounds offensive, but in reaction to the abuse that we are receiving from these children. Because the unfortunate truth is that these children, once abused, are very good at becoming abusers themselves. So, in fact, I can remember a time when one of my children had been sick, and he tends to cycle with his rages, and they tend to correlate directly with whether he's not feeling well or not. And at first I wasn't recognizing that, and he got sick, and he reminds me of a prey animal. Sometimes we have a farm, so a lot of times with our sheep, they're not we don't know that they're sick until they're near dead, and because they're a prey animal, they can't look weak ever, and that's what happens with this little guy. I think the fear keeps him from being able to trust and say, I'm sick, and let on those signs. So, I mean, we'll take him in because he has an asthma attack, and he's got 2 full-blown ear infections. One time even had pneumonia starting, and there was no indication other than that. One night, the breathing treatments weren't working, kind of thing, and even the emergency doctor was like, I would have never looked at him and thought that he was as sick as he was. So, we didn't kind of know at first what was going on, so this first bout, you know, when we all this became clear to us, he was a raging maniac. And I have 8 children that I have raised. When I tell you that he was raging, that is exactly what I mean. I don't mean he was throwing a temper tantrum. I don't mean that he was acting like 3-year-olds act when they don't feel good. I mean to tell you he was raging. And literally I brought him in, and the nurses would come in, and he would be so cute and sweet, and they'd walk out, and he would turn to me with such venom and say, "I hate you. I don't like you." And I remember bringing him home that night, and everybody else was gone. I had stayed home to care for him. So, you know, we had one more night where the family's out doing something. In this case, it was church, and I can't go because either behavior or whatever. And I'm holding this little boy who's being so nasty and screaming at me every time I turn, and I mean screaming at me. And I'm looking at him, and finally he had fallen asleep, and I'm thinking, I don't like you. I really don't like you at all. And I used to beat myself up for that. What a horrible person. How could I look at this little boy who's been through so much and think that? But it's a normal reaction to a bad situation. Now, do I let myself dwell on that? No, I speak truth to myself. The truth is right now I'm a little hurt by the way he reacted, and I'm a little offended, and I'm a little frustrated. And so those feelings make me feel like right now I don't like him. But love doesn't act on feelings. Love acts on the truth, and the truth is that he needs to be cared for right now. And that's what I'm going to do. So sometimes just a little self-talk can help when you're in the middle of a moment where you feel defeated. You know, so-and-so didn't do what they were supposed to again, maybe made a scene in class, maybe once again peed all over the floor, you know, whatever. And when I'm talking about these behaviors, I'm not talking about normal accidents behaviors. I'm talking about anger that comes out in very troubling ways and very frightening ways. And so sometimes you have to step back and separate yourself from that emotion of fear, because it's, I mean, I have to tell you, when some of the things these children do, it scares me. Even though they're littles right now, one day they won't be. And I feel very, very much afraid by the things that they're capable of. Very much threatened, very much angry. And so you have to step away from that and tell yourself the truth. And the truth is this child has been through a lot, and what we see today is not necessarily what we'll see tomorrow. But tomorrow's God's business, and I have to worry about what I'm doing right now. And stop taking the moments by days, months, weeks. Take the moments as they come. And so don't try to plan ahead for what you're going to do. You know, take them as they come. What am I going to do in this moment? Don't overwhelm yourself with all of those things, but just live right here and now. And it is okay to take a break. It is okay to say to the child, if you're able to, if this is, you know, if you're at a spot where he can do this, whatever you can do. I have had moments where I've said, you're going to sit in the chair, and you're just going to have to sit there quietly, because I can't trust you right now not to eat the crayons, so I can't really give you anything to do, but I need a break. And I've gone and just sat there for 15 minutes just so I can take a break. So, but I think that's the biggest thing when you're feeling defeated is to take care of yourself. Put your gas mask on. Get away if you can. But just, you know, take a break. And don't beat yourself up. Do not talk to yourself in a way that you wouldn't talk to your children. My kiddos, I love them. Although sometimes I don't like them. And at the end of the day, when they've tried my patience and pushed me almost to the brink, I don't send them to bed and then tell them, you're horrible, you're awful, you're this, you're that, I just can't stand you, you know, you'll never get this right. Another kid would never do this. I would never do that, because they don't heal in that. There's no hope in that. And all that does is defeat them. So why do I do that to myself? Why do I go to bed? You're a horrible mother. You're never going to get this right. You can't do this. So, I mean, don't do that to yourself. It's not true. It's not true. You have taken on something that a lot of people aren't willing to do and aren't able to do. And you are amazing. And that's what you're going to tell yourself from now on. I am amazing. I am a wonderful person who loves this child. And through God's help and through His grace, we will make something of this. And this is going to be amazing. And just don't give in to that defeat. And celebrate the little successes. Celebrate them. It's easy. I remember reading one adoption blog, and she said, I'm so glad when we got past the point where we're saying, oh, look at how you buckled that seat. You just really know how to use your buckle, don't you? Because you're looking for these little things, but honestly, do it. Whatever little thing they do right, that's a celebration, and allow yourself to celebrate it, you know? I'm so happy that you sat here for the last 5 minutes without screaming. That's exciting. You know, you will feel better. They will feel better. So learn to make the good times more exciting than the bad times. Eventually they'll want that a little more, you hope. But it also breaks it up for you. And take time to be silly. Just laugh at yourself. Laugh at what's going on. I learned that in the beginning watching Christine Moore's. I talk about her a lot, but if you haven't watched her videos, watch them. But she talks about taking time to just be crazy. Out crazy the crazy, she calls it, and I love it. Out crazy the crazy. Just take some time to be silly. When things get hot and heated, just be funny. Change the routine. Just make a joke of it. That can help. So, but you are doing great. You're doing great. You are taking care of this child and loving this child in a way they've never been loved before. And sometimes that's a little bit more than they can handle. But that doesn't make you a bad mom. You can do this.